When I was young, my brother and I had a group of neighborhood friends, and we would regularly ride around the neighborhood on our bikes and play games. This happened over the summer, so we were riding around with our bikes and water balloons, and at the top of our street, enter M. She did not live in the neighborhood, and as far as I know, she never did, so I have no idea what she was doing there. We would occasionally ride up on people's driveways, because we were 7 or 8 at the time, so we didn't know it was rude. M saw us doing this, drove up, and got out of her car. M, what are you doing? Don't you know that is illegal? Friend, what were we doing? M, how dare you talk back to me? Get over here with your gang and I will teach you a lesson. When none of us moved, she started to come over to us. Luckily, the mom of one of our gang members lived at the house of the driveway we were in, and came out when she saw this. She told us all to leave, and that she would deal with them. So, we started riding away as fast as we could on our bikes. M, get back here you little fucks. Luckily, we were on bikes, and she was a land whale, so we got away pretty easily. We never saw M again, and I can only imagine what my friend's mom said to M, knowing how overprotective she is. I know this ep story wasn't nearly as interesting, or as extreme as others, but thanks for reading anyways. Whenever I get money for Christmas and stuff, but dad always wants to use it, and complains to me why I never let him. I recently applied for a job and I most likely won't get it. It's the first application I've ever put in. Take note I'm only 16, and I'm wanting to save money for when I graduated move out. I'm only a freshman in high school. I told him that some places I was thinking of working at. I also was not that concerned about money because this would be my first job. I don't have a car or license, but I know how to use our public transportation here in town. Knowing my dad, I had to say this to him, so he would back off when I got a job. Once I open a bank account to put money in it, and nobody's going to touch it. Hell, I would even tell the rest of the family that I have a job. Take note that some of my dad's family members like to steal money. My aunt and uncle have scammed many churches out of thousands of dollars. They don't even have their house under their name, it's under my great grandmother's. This is just an example of why I won't tell any family members. My dad's face was absolutely livid. Once he heard he would have no access to the bank account, he was not happy. This was his excuse. What am I going to do if I can't pay the gas bill and stuff? My response, of course, do what you usually do, make a plan with the gas company. You need to learn how to not be dependent on your old daughter. Yes, you have financial issues because you don't know how to save money. As well as my aunt and uncle you have stolen from me. Dad, your motherfucking brainwashed you about this fucking shit again. And you need to mind your business and stop being a selfish brat. Me dad, if I'm making the money, I'm not being selfish, it's my money. This is exactly the reason why it's being connected to my stepdad's account, because I know I can trust him. Also, your bank does not have a good teens program. You always want my money and always want to borrow my stuff. That you never paid for it was either me from money I've earned or my mom. If it hasn't been obvious by now, my parents are divorced and I live with my dad. I've only been with him for the past 3 years now since we moved. My dad just stops off, and the usual crybaby, bitch, selfish bitch, retard. It doesn't help that I'm supposed to be getting set up for being tested for autism, and that I just got out of a specialty unit a week prior to this conversation. He also doesn't get that I don't want him spending too much money on me. I tried my best to explain that to him, but it turns out to fail. Because after he blows up money on things on me I never asked for, he always complains about how we have very little money. He also gets upset when I try to budget to save money. When I was 12 years old, I lived in a neighborhood with a lot of stray cats, like 10 to 15 of them. An old lady lived there. When she died, her cats were abandoned on the street. They had kittens, and so on. All of them were really calm, and they liked a good rub behind the ears. We had a neighbor that was a bitch. Gossip queen of the neighborhood for 11 years consecutive. She had a daughter around my age. She was a cool girl. We played when we were kids, but her mom was super protective of her. The cats played around all neighborhood. Most of the neighbors would give them food, water, and shelter when was raining. But this lady really hated these cats. She always told she would kill them, but no one really believed her. I loved to play with the cats, and every kid on the neighborhood did too. But this lady really hated them. So she did the most evil thing I saw a person do. She bought meat and put poison in it. Six cats were found dead. Other 3 were really sick, but were saved. I cried a lot because I really liked this cats. Justice was done, and she was fined a lot of money for poisoning animals. How we knew it was her. First, the cats were founded on her garden, and second, she bragged about, "My daughter will not be sneezing anymore because of this puss." Yes, ladies and gentlemen, her daughter didn't have a lethal allergy, she just started sneezing. Lady, I hate you, and I know that the darkest pits of hell will be reserved to you. This is only my second post here, but this happened to me about 25 minutes ago. I was heading over to Burger King, super unhealthy, I know, and I was waiting for the crossing light to come on. I saw this woman in one of those I saw Karen mobile minivans coming towards me. The crossing light came on and the Karen mobile stopped right in the middle of the fucking crosswalk. There was room for me to cross, so I crossed. As I was crossing, the Karen mobile started rolling forward as I was in front of it. I looked to see this "May I see your manager" looking woman glaring at me, like I had just told her that one of her kids in the Karen mobile was Charles Manson. She was looking at me with complete and utter disgust. I shouted, "Hey." She just glared at me and honked at me. Keep in mind that the crossing light was on. She didn't stop, so I hurried across the street in case she decided to floor it. That was one of the most unnerving crossings that I've ever done. I know that it's not long or dramatic, but this is the true story of my brief and somewhat dangerous encounter with an entitled parent. So today I was sitting in the train after a really long day at work, school, things like that. So basically what happened is that I fell asleep in the train. Now I have this habit of laying kinda like a fetus when I sleep. So basically what happened is that I was laying onto seats with my feet on the seat next to me. At every stop, I had to go a long way. I'd wake up. I'm a pretty light sleeper, so whenever people started getting up, I'd shoot up too. Which was a good thing, just in case someone wanted to sit next to me. At some point this woman glances over at me, and I don't think much of it. I go back to sleep. I literally woke up to sound of, "How dare you ignore me." Me just looks at her very sleepily. Did your mother raise you like that? Do you do this at home too? Sitting in the train with your feet on the seat. You're not disabled. How dare you? What if I sat on the place where your dirty feet are? Me, I think to myself, this lady has a point. She's kinda rude, but I guess it's rude to put my feet on the seat. The comment about my mother ticked me off, but I'll let it go. My shoes weren't dirty BTW. Not an excuse of course, but still, it's not like they were muddy gross shoes. You ignored me. I even looked at you. How can you just leave your feet on the seat while I even looked at you? So at this point I'm just confused. Like, okay lady, I get it. Not cool. I kind of wanted to make her stop lecturing me, and the screaming was starting to get to me too. I probably should have said something, but I was too tired to even think of something to say to her. If my children did something like this, I would discipline them. Your mother didn't raise you like this. What do you think she would feel like if she knew about this? You're old enough to know. At this point I was pissed. I left home at 16 because of abusive parents, so this hit a nerve. So I did the only thing a sensible 19-year-old about to explode could do, or at least I thought. I grabbed my headphones and I put them on. She wasn't already screaming to the top of her lungs. This did it. Luckily for me, I could get off the next stop. I know this isn't a very epic story, but I still felt like I should post it here rather than anywhere else. Did you enjoy this video? Leave a like and subscribe to Brody for more.